We acknowledge the first Australians as the traditional custodians of the continent, whose culture is the oldest living culture in human history. We pay our respects to elders, past, present and emerging, and we respect their cultural heritage, beliefs and relationship with the land. We extend our respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. They share the memories, traditions and hopes of the traditional ancestors with the new generations today and in the future. We would also like to thank them for looking after this land for thousands of years.
Hello everyone and welcome to Coastcare Week. My name's Karen from Virtual Excursions Australia and we're very excited to have Mary from Nature's Know for our nature spotlight for today. So I'm going to pass you over to Mary and we're going to really think about our mindfulness and our connection to nature as we move forward today. So I'll pass you over to Mary. Thank you for joining us today, Mary.
Thanks for having me along, Karen. It's lovely to see you all here for our Blue Mind Nature Break today, focused for Coastcare Week. And it's a delight to share this experience with you. And it's near the end of the day and it's time to slow down. And if you like going to the beach, then you're going to enjoy this afternoon. So there's only a few things to take note of today. I would like all of you to have a curious and open mind and make the most of the experience for yourself. So it's not about performing or doing the best or anything like that. This is an experience just for you. And being in nature has so many benefits. And if we think about the ocean and being by the sea, there's lots of benefits to that as well. So this whole experience is designed to take you on a journey on a beautiful summer afternoon down on a walk by the beach. So be mindful. This is a safe experience. And give yourself some space from your other classmates. You might like to sit down. There's no need to move around too much. If you need to squiggle and squirm, that's fine, but just be aware that you're around other people and you want them to have a wonderful experience like yours. So it's more about a quiet, gentle approach as we take our journey. So let's begin by taking an item of nature. So perhaps you might have some leaves, or you may even have a shell. It doesn't matter even if you don't. You can just watch me as I take you through this first part of our journey to the beach. So we want to immerse our senses in this experience. So we're going to use them as we go through exploring our natural object. So if we take the shell, for example, it's a great idea to explore it through your sense of touch. So if you have a shell or you have the leaf, just take it there in front of you and explore it with your fingers, the palm of your hand. You may even like to explore it with part of your wrist or the other side of your hand. Just take your time to notice the surface that you are touching. Does it feel soft, hard? Are there ridges? What does it feel like to hold this natural object in your hand? Does it feel like something familiar to you? Take your time to really feel the weight of it in your hand as well. Is it light or is it a little bit heavy? Does it feel like it's small or large? Just take a minute to really feel how it feels in your hand. Now, taking your natural object, it's time to explore the colours, shapes, and perhaps even the outline of what you can see here in front of you. Are there light and dark colours, bright colours? Is the surface of what you are looking at clear? Like, say, perhaps you can see some light through your leaf if you've got a leaf with you, or even your shell. Can you tell what it is made of by what you're looking at? Are there patterns like the circles here on the shell and the knobs and the different gradients of colour? Just look at them closely with your eyes. Admire and explore. Discover what you like about your natural object. Now we can use the sense of sound. Are there sounds when you tap your shell or your leaf? Or perhaps you're scrunching your leaf to make a sound. Or if you're lucky enough to have a shell, can you hold it to your ear? And what sounds do you hear? Is it a sound that you're familiar with? Does it remind you of something? Just take a minute to listen to the sounds of your natural object. Perhaps there are smells associated with what you're holding. With the leaves, you can take it as you scrunch it and smell if it smells like the forest. Or perhaps you can imagine the smell of the sea as you bring your shell closer to your nose. Just take those smells in. Perhaps you'd even like to close your eyes, just so you can get a focus on this sense of smell and make it very aware of what you have in front of you. Does that smell remind you of something? Let's see if we can taste the air around us. You might like to hold out your tongue and just allow your taste buds to sense the air around you. If you close your eyes, can you imagine you're in the forest? Perhaps you're just by the ocean and you can smell the sweetness of the salty air. Perhaps there's a taste in your mouth that you had from your lunch and you can see how that might be a taste that you like or that you can remember. Just allow your sense of smell to be really, really aware. Now I'd like you to just take a minute to slow down your breathing, because that really helps you relax, and I'd love you to have a relaxing time on our walk. So let's just take a deep in, and you might like to sigh quietly, and just breathing in slowly, breathing out slowly as well, and breathing in again. And breathing out. You can use the leaf or the shell and just blow very gently. Just release your breath a little bit more. And just give your shoulders a little bit of a wiggle and just settle in to the space that we're in. Great job, everybody. So as we slow our breath, let's open our imagination and imagine this afternoon we are taking a walk to the beach. As you walk along, can you feel the sand below you? Is it squeaking? Is it making a noise? Are you able to leave a footprint? Or is it all squishy below? Is it perhaps a little bit hot and you're taking a few quick steps until you can pause under the shade of a tree? And just stop here for a minute. Enjoy that shady moment. And look up and imagine that you can see a beautiful sky above you, peeking through the greenery of the tree that you're looking at and standing under. You are sensing a feeling of coolness as you stand under this tree, and you feel grateful that you have this minute to explore that feeling of feeling a little bit cooler after taking your walk. And as we take our walk further down, we might even hear some sounds. Can you hear insects buzzing around the trees and bushes around you? Perhaps in the distance, you can hear the call of seagulls or other birds that are flitting through the bushes. And you take some slow, gentle steps along the sand, down the dune, and you begin to see a great, beautiful sight in front of you. You use your eyes to scan the horizon and notice that the sun is shining and it's making the water glisten. And you can see the waves making their own dance of light as the sun creates a reflection on them. There are the bumps and crests of the waves. And indeed, there are some fluffy clouds floating in the sky. And it appears like the perfect day to be enjoying the beach. You may like to take on a sense of drifting. It's lovely to be at the beach and be drifting along, almost in rhythm with the waves. You can experience and slow down the beauty of this special place. You can see the waves washing in and out, back and forth. And there are some foamy waves that are cresting out the back, and they look so inviting as you take the time to appreciate this great ocean and sea you are surrounded by as you spend time along the shore. You're hearing the sound of the waves as well as you watch them go back and forth. And you are happy to hear this familiar sound that you like so much, that gives you the memories of having fun by the sea in this special blue place. So just take a moment to perhaps take a little time to sit down and experience the beauty around you. You can see that it is a lovely place to be. There is so much to appreciate in this special place. And I'm just going to get some special things to show you here on this sandy shore. So perhaps you're feeling what it feels like with the sand beneath your toes and the gritty warmth of the surface below you. And as you come along the beach, you can see some beautiful objects, treasures in the sand. And the first thing you notice is this beautiful pebble. And you're intrigued by the darkness of the colours and this amazing stripe in the middle. And it makes you wonder, what is this special rock you have found? How long has it been here? Have you been in this spot before and seen rocks? Or is it different to see rocks like this? And you may like to touch and imagine how smooth this special rock is from being so long near the sea, as it too has been washed by the waves over the years. And then you discover another treasure in front of you, and it looks very different. It's got a very white colour and some interesting shapes and patterns to it. And you're wondering, what is this? Perhaps some of you know. And you can see the special features of this washed up piece of coral in front of you, and you can imagine what it would have been like when it was living, and now it still has magnificent beauty as you discover all the crevices and patterns it has upon it. And you note the special lightness it feels as there are many hollow spaces inside, as you can see as you explore it further. I wonder what creatures might find this a home if it was under the water, and what special colours it would have where it lived at the bottom of the sea once. And you appreciate that you can discover such beautiful treasures on your special walk to the sea. And then you discover there is a very large shell in front of you, and it looks so beautiful with its shape. And you use your fingers to trace around and appreciate the special significance of its shape. And you wonder what creatures may have lived inside this special home. You can see the shininess and what's living inside. You wonder, how big is this home, this shell, for this magnificent creature that once lived here, and how it has such special patterns and special intricate grooves in the shell as well. It really is a magnificent, wondrous thing, this shell. You can see all the shapes. You can look at the circles around it and take on your mathematical brain and go, wow, the patterns of nature are amazing. It's actually really good for you to be looking at these natural colours and shapes, as we often are looking at so many things that are man-made. And it's just delightful to come across natural objects as you experience your special time by the sea. And then you may discover that there is a special piece of wood. I wonder if you've ever seen lovely pieces of wood by the ocean. And you can see this piece of driftwood, as you may say, has cracks and colours and crevices all around it. And it feels so smooth and light as it's been weathered by the wind and the sand and the waves over time. There are other discoveries there as well. There are other rocks that have special colours and features on them, and they look delightful as you admire them from their many angles and feel the weight in your hands and the coolness as you discover how that feels. And then there are other shells that look really different, that have worn in funny shapes, but are still amazing with the crevices and colours and shininess and dull patterns they have on it as well. And as you walk, you are admiring the special features of the beach, and you come across some things that come from other people that have been at the beach. And you think to yourself, oh, that's fun when it's something I play with, but it doesn't belong at the beach. What can I be doing as a Coastcarer to make a difference as I take this special time at the beach? There's even this polystyrene foam as well that can really create havoc in our environment and break up into so many tiny pieces you can't even see it anymore. So it's not nice to have these bits of waste lying on your seashore visit. And then you've got it the plastic as well, and it doesn't feel as nice to touch the plastic as it did to touch your natural objects as you've made your visit to the sand. So you've decided that you're going to collect these items and take them away, and that might be your take 3 for the sea effort, which is something you can do every time you go to the beach, or in fact even time in nature. If you see rubbish, take it away and put it away somewhere. Just put it in your bag. Take 3 for the sea, it's called. And that's how you, as a coast carer, can make a big difference. There are other things you discover as well. Beautiful shells like this that have a different shape to the other shells. There's so many different shells, aren't they? They're really quite amazing in the way that they are shaped and coloured. They're so individual, and they all once had animals in them, and it's really quite amazing to see them like this. And let me see if I can share some more time at the beach with you on my other camera, as I just get it set up a little bit. I wanted to make sure that you could experience a little bit of water time as well. So let me see if I can do that for you. So it's very special to be at the beach, and it's something that we often don't get the time to do very often. You may not even be at the beach, but you can spend time looking at things like this. So just imagine that you've got your feet or your hands in the water, and the coolness that you feel as you touch that water, even if it was with your feet, and you can sense the different ways and temperature as you put your hand in upside down, for example, and just listen to what that water feels like as you splash it. It's very, very different, isn't it? It's a lovely feeling to be with water, and we're all made of water, you see. We've got lots of water in our bodies, so it's a natural, lovely feeling for us to enjoy water and its qualities, the way that it looks, and it's lovely when it's clean and clear, and that's why we want to pick up that rubbish when we're there. And the other thing that you experience as you touch it is not only the different temperatures, but the sounds. And water feels so different to anything else, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like sand. It doesn't feel like the shells. It's very light, and it can drip, and you can make patterns with it. So it's very special to enjoy water. So always appreciate the water that you have, and it's really nice to have a swim as well. So that's something very special that we like to do at the beach, to spend time in the water and put our senses with it as well. So you may like to think about that experience that we've just had by the beach, and think of ways of how you might be able to take yourself back to it. Just have a look around the room and put your hand up in your classroom there. And if you felt that you were more relaxed after that experience, did you enjoy it a bit more? Did you feel like you'd slowed down a little bit? That's what I was hoping to do by immersing your senses through that experience, and really getting you to take the time to appreciate your surroundings, all the elements of nature, whether it was natural objects like the shells and the stones, or the feeling of the sand, or the sound of the birds and the waves, the light and the clouds and blue sky above you, and the water and the way it moves and the waves and the power that water has to wash things and make them smooth and very different over time, like the driftwood that we shared. So there's so much to appreciate by being by the coast. So being good coast carers is a great thing to give back. So doing something like the Take 3. But I wonder what other things you could do. So some suggestions I have for you are when you're at school and you're spending time, if you have a sandpit, perhaps you can imagine what it feels like as you're playing in the sand to be at the beach. Perhaps there's some shells that you could bring along to just make it feel like you're at the beach, or some pebbles or driftwood, just to kind of give you that sense of being there. And it's also fun to play with water. And we can't necessarily do that while we're in the classroom, but when you're washing your hands, take the time to appreciate the feeling of the water on your hands and imagine that you're at the beach. Take the sights, the smells, the sounds with you, and you can have a blue mind experience. It's kind of going to help you slow down, appreciate nature, and help you give back. And that's a great thing to be doing on Coastcare Week. So, Karen, I'm happy if anyone wants to ask some questions or give any feedback on the experience. I'd love to hear how people are feeling after it.
Excellent. Thank you, Mary. While we're waiting for people to put their questions into the chat or the Q&A, I want to say thank you. I took some time and I relaxed and I breathed and I listened and I thought about my experiences at the coast. And for those of you that might have joined me on Monday, when I talked about scuba diving as well, you know, the feel and the sound when you're immersed in the water is very different to when you're on land. There's a sense of being weightless as well. So it really changes your whole body. But even when as Mary was explaining that journey, even when I see the water in the distance, it helps me feel that way and it helps me slow down and relax. So I've had a very busy day and I was able to use that as well, Mary, to slow down. So thank you very much. Let's see if we've got anything that comes up into the chat. I will actually share a link to some beach combing resources as well. So Mary showed some amazing things that have been collected along the shore through her life. And I think some of them actually belong to her mother as well that she's been able to use. And that is something that you can do. As long as it's not a protected environment, you are able to pick a shell or a piece of driftwood, and those things help you connect to that moment and connect to that experience. I often will collect shells or pebbles, and I sometimes even make necklaces out of those pebbles, and it helps me remember and connect to that moment that I was at the beach as well. And I think what Mary was saying, Take 3 for the sea, is absolutely perfect and a great message to leave for us for Coastcare Week, to remove some of those rubbish that we do see. And I'll share a little bit of a link about how to do a beach survey. So for those of you that are closer to the shore, you might be able to do that. Oh, AJ was saying, thank you. I had fun learning about the sea and the seashells. I loved it. So thank you so much, AJ. He's been joining us with a lot of our programs throughout today. It was very relaxing. You live right to speech to Phillip Island. So this is Felix and Albert. I think you've joined us for a couple of the sessions this week. And that's wonderful if you can take these experiences right out to where you live. I'll leave Mary to add to that.
Yeah, that's so good that you live near the beach and you appreciate where you live, and even to come along today and, you know, because you've got it right at your doorstep. That's wonderful, and you're so lucky to do that. And I'm hoping that there's others that do not get to the beach so much and they were able to be transported to feel like they're at the beach. But you'll be able to take some of those things you learnt today and apply them wherever you are and get back into that moment of feeling relaxed and happy. That's so wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, that is great. And AJ was saying he used to live near the beach, so that's a really good connection for you there as well. So lots of thank yous, Mary, are coming through. A really great way to reflect on the importance of Coastcare Week. Oh, we've got Callan also lives near the beach. Oh, that's great. And it's really good for those that do live near the beach, but those that live further away as well. We're going to show some beautiful sand there, Mary.
Yeah, I had this here, and this is collected by my mum many years ago, and I think we all added bits of sand over time. But it's just in a jar, like actually a drink bottle, and there's wax at the top and all the different layers. And that's just another way to kind of appreciate the ocean and all the different coloured sands. Like, you don't necessarily notice when you're there, but if you go to different places, there's lots of different sands. So that's one way that you could do it. I love how Karen's collecting shells and making necklaces and things. I've also got a little jar of little tiny shells that have been washed up. So that's probably quite a lot, but I've got, my mother collected things over a long time. So these are things that kind of take you back, and you can listen to the shells and smell it as well.
Yeah, I agree, Mary. I think smell can be one of those really important experiences. The smell of the sea, or even different places around Australia. The smell of the bush near the ocean is different in other parts. And we've got, AJ's mentioning here that his cousin got stung by a stingray once. Well, that would have been a bit of an unfortunate event. But a lot of the time, when you're, looking and feeling and connecting, it's a really safe place to go and explore. So thank you everyone for joining us today. It's been absolutely fabulous to have Mary here. So thank you so much for being part of Coastcare Week and helping us think about being mindfulness in not only nature, but especially during Coastcare.
My pleasure, Karen. It's been a joy. Thanks everyone along.
Excellent, guys. I'll share some follow-up resources in the recording. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us again. And tomorrow at 2, we have the deep blue ocean. So there's one more session at 2 o'clock tomorrow. See you, everyone. Bye-bye.